twice in the paddy fields of Thailand. He's seen the sunrise from the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro. He's meditated within the ancient walls of Machu Picchu. He's got a Renault Turbo Sport and a TVR. He's got a huge bank balance. He could go out with any woman in the country. Arnold Schwarzenegger is a close personal friend of his family. He's been invited to the Prime Minister's house for drinks. He's the closest thing on earth to the angel Gabriel. He's Tommy Boyd.
But the Sunday Mirror is in absolutely tip-top form, leading with the exclusive that a leading tailors in London who outfit the Queen and Prince Charles are selling for £3,000 a time jackets made out of hamsters. Fantastic. They're slaughtering the popular pets for their exclusive fashion wear. And last night, TV writer and animal rights campaigner Carla Lane said that the coats were sick and beyond belief. She says, and there's a picture of a man wearing a jacket made out of hamsters stitched together. Yeah, on the front page of the Sunday Mirror, Carla Lane says, I despair over people, if you'll pardon me whilst I turn the pages to find the continuation of what she has to say, who can do this kind of thing. Line 1. Good morning, you're live on Talksport.
I'm lost in space and I don't know what to do to find you.
I used to like Zachary Smith.
I'm lost.
That's very good. That's very good. I thought it was a recording, but you're obviously live.
I am live. And I'm floating. I need to get to a hospital. I need a strap it into me.
You conjure up the visual image of one of those monsters, very poor monsters that they used to have in the Twilight Zone.
I've never seen the Twilight Zone.
I tell you what, can you go like that woman goes in Star Trek when the monster appears, which is like that? That's it? That's it? Okay, that's good. Now, I'll be Kirk. Robin, who are you going to be? Scotty?
I'll be Scotty.
Okay, you be Scotty. You need a line, don't you? May God Captain... Not she cannot take much more of this, Captain. She's going to blow, because that's a cliche. Wait a minute, the monster hasn't appeared yet.
God, everyone's a star. Look. Wait till you're called upon.
Will you wait? Will you wait? I'll cue you. All right?
You're professional now. You're on radio, not on your pub.
How are they doing this voice? Because everybody wants to do this voice.
It sounds like a bit of feedback.
A bit of feedback.
Yeah.
Very good. If you don't shut up, I'll step on one of your tentacles.
Half a bottle of baby jam.
Right, okay. So, Scotty, I think, what about the It's Alive? I love It's Alive. That's a great line. Can you do it?
It's alive, Captain.
No.
Got a bit
It's
more.
more into the mic, and it's more, it's alive. Like that.
Alive.
That's good. Okay, and I'll do the Jim Kirk acting, which means putting a pause in the wrong place in the sentence.
And are you going to put a syrup on your head for this, or are you going to do it alla Franti?
No, because it's radio. Do you know there's an actor? This girlfriend I had who was a makeup artist told me that a very famous actor who was in Colditz, right, wears a syrup in real life, and for Colditz had to wear a syrup, right? So she,
Ooh.
this is funny. So she got him alone in the makeup room, right, and said, she said, well, if you'd just like to take your piece off, I'll be able to put your toupee on. And you know what he said? He went,
What piece?
so she had to tape a toupee to a toupee. So she taped his toupee to his toupee, which was taped to his head.
It's like a cheap carpet, hasn't it?
I know, he must have been a foot taller than in real life. Right, so Jim will say, he'd say something like, my God's, what rank is Scotty?
Is he head of engineer or chief engineer?
My God, Chief, yes, the Chief. But he'd say, my God, Chief, the rock is moving. But anybody else would go, my God, Chief, the rock is moving. But Kirk would go, Bill Shatner would go, my God, Chief, the rock is moving. That's how he acts. Puts a pause somewhere wrong. My God, Chief. No, he wouldn't put it there. My God, Chief, the rock is moving. Okay. Are you ready, Monster? Okay. When Scotty says it's alive, count to 3 in your mind and then go, ah. Okay? Okay, good. Right. We're running down a papier-mâché corridor now, okay?
All right.
My God, Chief, the rock is moving.
It's alive, Jim.
Fantastic. Thank you very much indeed, caller. That was cracking. Bye-bye.
I think we're into the Sonys with that one.
I really enjoyed that. There was a monster once in the Twilight Zone. He landed on a planet. Two astronauts landed on a planet. Really bad special effects in the Twilight Zone. And the monster looked like a leek upside down. You know a leek?
Yep.
A vegetable?
Oh, yes.
I'm saying this for people in Louisiana who've never heard of a leek. It looks like a bit like what was the American equivalent of a leek? Did it have leeks in America? Did they have
A very large spring onion.
do they have vegetables in America?
Well, apart from in the White House, no.
Everybody comes back from America and says, oh, lovely crispy bacon, but no vegetables.
So there was a film once.
Right. I told you my mum turned off Star Trek once because she said she's not having language like that in the house.
Ah. What was it that offended her?
I don't know, she came in, she plonked down a plate of fish and chips, fish fingers and peas, sorry, it was a Wednesday.
So it was Fish on Wednesday, yeah.
Fish fingers. On my brother's lap and my lap, and she turned to go, and as she turned, Kirk called Spock a Vulcan idiot.
Ooh.
And my mum stalked across and she turned the television off. She said, my God, she said, I am not having language like that in the house.
Your mum's partial to a bit of Vulcan, is she?
She'd heard something different.
Yes, they do, don't they?
She'd heard... Can you imagine if Spock had called... I mean, if Kirk had called Spock an effing idiot.
Yep.
You idiot. You Vulcan idiot, Spock. Poor old mum.
It's only mums that can do that.
I know.
My mum once did sponge pudding for us.
Pretend, act. That's what the rest of us do. There ain't no secret to this, you know, miss. We just pretend it's all right. It's a clown's face. A suit of armour in our body language that we all wear. And nobody told you the trick. We're all dying and crying inside, just like you. Only on the outside, our way, is to pretend it's all fine. And that's all you have to do. It's as simple as that. Really.
It doesn't work now, does it?
It does.
Well, I do that a lot.
You don't.
I do.
You don't. You can't do it. If you did it a lot, you'd be able to switch it on like that, like I can. And like everybody else can. But
Really?
you can't. You can't.
Really?
You could do. You've got to practice. It's just like walking a tightrope. You can't just walk a tightrope. It's like playing the piano. You can't just play the piano. You've got to learn how to do it, and you've got to stick at it, and it's hard work. And like everybody else, of course you're black inside. But on the outside, you've got to be bright and shiny. And when people say, how are you? You say, I'm fine. You're not. Because none of us are. None of us. Not one of us. Not one living soul, not Mother Teresa, not anybody is fine inside.
God bless her.
Focus.
I am fine.
No, you're not. You tried to change the subject.
Oh, you said Mother Teresa, she's dead now. I said, God bless her.
You got work to do, Missy. Yeah, it's hard work. Hard work being a human being.
No.
Yeah. A lot of people, when they think they're depressed, all they're really doing is just copping out on the hard work, which is not spilling their problems over onto everybody else, but pretending it's fine. That's what we all do. From the age of about 4 or 5 when the penny drops.
I don't try and spill my problems out on everybody else.
No, sure.
I
Anyway, I hope that's helpful to you.
Well, it has been, Tommy.
Good.
So I should focus more.
Nope.
No.
Nope. What I said.
Well, pretend everything's all right.
That's a start.
Thank you for talking to me.
Pleasure. There isn't a single human being on planet Earth who's ever lived, is alive now, or will live, who will be able to recount any of their circumstances without at the same time realizing that it is a credential for depression.
Someone came out and said
It never happened.
it never happened. Would that shock you or not?
No, I would like it. I would like it because I believe that there are a lot more things. If that happened, if the moon landing had been faked, it would lead me to suspect that it would lead me to ask questions about an awful lot of other things that we've been asked to believe down the years, such as one pet personal theory of my own, which is that it is quite possible that the atomic weapons, which we lived in fear of for 40 years, did not have entirely the destructive capacity with which we were threatened.
So it would blow up all the theories, wouldn't it?
Well, it would mean that I and my generation and my parents' generation lived in absolute terror of any world event that looked as though it could pitch the Soviet Union against the United States. We lived in absolute terror of any such news for 30 or 40 years unnecessarily.
Do you think that was all a wind-up, the red button and all that?
I have my suspicions.
Yeah. Oh, cheers, Tommy, anyway.
Oh, yeah, nice to talk. Thank you for your call. 08700 40 50 60. Facts. I'm on record as saying that we shouldn't worry so much about decriminalising marijuana. We should decriminalise the F word, and that way, frankly, what you would be doing is robbing inarticulate people who like to annoy law-abiding people of a weapon. They just use that word casually on the bus behind you in the chip shop queue to annoy you. Well, if we make it legitimate, then they're stuck. They won't be able to annoy people easily and casually.
They'd have to find some long word to replace it.
Well, one of the great things about swearing is, I mean, we're constantly getting new things, aren't we? But a new concept. Speaking.
Hi, Tommy. I was just phoning up, right? I've only recently heard you on the radio again. I used to listen at 2 in the afternoon.
Yes?
The line might be really bad, actually, 'cause it's pretty windy out. Do you ever remember a bloke called Simon who used to phone up? He used to be writing arts.
We miss him.
Do you miss him?
We miss him, yes.
He was a friend of mine. Do you still remember him then?
No!
You don't remember him?
I mean, yes, of course I remember him, but what I meant was that incredulous, no, as in,
he was
you.
a friend of mine.
Well, would you tell him if you see him around, or if you know which
I'll
institution?
tell you what he's doing now. He's at university.
Is he really?
He was never anyone he said he was. He used to come under all these aliases.
Yeah.
He's at university. His real name's Andy. I don't know if he's listening now.
You should be telling him. Well, give him a nudge and tell him we're back, and it would be like to have that little twerp back on the radio.
Yeah, he used to come on for a long time. You used to let him on your show for about half an hour.
He was cracking stuff. You know, I remember the day. There was a big management something or other at Talk, and they had wine, and they all came out at about 2:15, and somebody in the Talk program planning area just said, "Hey, you ought to listen to this guy on the radio." And I was just sitting back and letting him get on with it. People were ringing him up.
That's right, yeah.
And
you had him speaking to other people.
And calling him a Nazi and a faggot hater. And,
that's right, yeah. A woman actually phoned him up and asked him if he'd like to come in, and then nothing ever emerged from it. But, I mean, he's got a great future. He does mountain bike commentary and things like that.
Well,
he really has got a mouth. I mean, he phones out the White House and all that. He's a bit of a comedian, but...
He did ring me after I left Talk, or I got fired, basically. He left me and said, he rang me and wrote to me and said, I'm around, and I forgot to reply to him, and I've lost his letter. Will you tell him to drop me a line at Talksport?
Yeah, he's a great boy, yeah. He's
good.
Do you know, I haven't spoken to him for a few months, but I will do. I mean, I'm at university now myself, and we've both gone our separate ways, but we're at college together, doing A-level English, and, you know, but yeah, I just wondered if you remembered him, because he was quite a big feature of your show.
Where are you at the moment, then, with all that wind?
I'm walking my dog in Winton, in Bournemouth.
Fantastic fella.
I know, well, he's got to be walked, you know, and he's with his wife.
But isn't it good to live somewhere safe like Bournemouth, where you can walk your dog at 2 in the morning and not get turned over?
Well, do you know what? It's not as safe as you think, and it's not as safe as I thought when I came down here. Actually, I work at a one-stop around here in Wimborne, and it's pretty bad, actually. I mean, I come from Fareham. I don't know if you know that. You're down south, aren't you? So.
I am, but kids hang around the one-stops down south.
That's right.
Because they haven't got youth clubs, you see, in Hampshire.
Yeah, well, no, actually, this one's right near a youth club, and I get all of them in there stealing, but...
Yeah, well, they do. They hang around, don't they? All right,
Yeah.
well, carry on. Keep up the good work. Nice to talk to you. Give Simon our regards and make sure that message is passed on, and I will see you in heaven.
Right, okay, mate.
What a nice man. What a very nice man. What a cracking start to the programme, but no loonies. No, leave that. Line 5, you are live on Talksport. Good morning.
Hello, Tommy.
Hello.
You was in a lift. Somebody break wind.
Mm.
You know it, not you. What you do in that situation?
Well, it depends. Who else is in the lift? This is a very good one. Who else is in the lift?
Well, the lift is packed, Tommy.
Is a gorgeous woman in the lift?
Of course.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't
You
even...
got a man in a pinstripe suit with a briefcase,
Yeah.
and he looked mighty suspicious.
Mm.
What
did
you
we, Did we hear the wind be broken, or do we notice it by other clues?
No, but Tommy, it's making you blow in the face. It's so strong.
Ah. But do we hear it?
You can hear nothing.
You
And
can
the-
hear
and the
so
door is-
some- Well, I would say that it's very rare for a silent evacuate.
Tommy, the door is not opening. There is no way out.
Yeah. But
What you do?
well, I'm just trying to establish how plausible this all is.
I tell you, Tommy.
Yes.
You smile,
Yes.
you say nothing,
Yes.
and soon you will be in paradise.
Right.
Respect.
Okay. Far out. Little sort of either genuine or a fictional Caribbean parable there, sort of brother Aesop's fable or something. I don't know. Line.
Excuse me.
Line 3. Yes, go on.
I told you to shut back well up! If you don't stop drilling, I shall get so angry! So angry, I'm not joking!
Enigmatic. Here's another one. Line 4. Another loony. In the right measure, they're fantastic. That was line 4. Line 5 now. Good morning, you're live on Talksport. Well, we lost that call. Line 6, good morning.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning, Tommy.
Sir.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit concerned with the quality of spoken English on your program.
Well, I don't care.
You don't care?
No, really.
Oh, fair enough.
I do, isn't it, really?
I think that
I
people-
before you tell me, I won't care. So shall I just park myself and you can just sort of yak on for a bit?
well, no, I wanted to have a discussion with you about it, really.
No chance. Sport.
Hello, is this live?
Yes, it is.
Oh yes, I was just listening to what you had knowledge of that lady about that young child for. And you come up with all this rubbish about Jill Dander, this silly theories that you've got. Are you insensitive as well? Huh? Come on, answer me.
Well,
I'll put the phone down on you. You're like
yeah, it's because you can't handle an argument. You're weak. You're a weak man. You're a very weak Geordie. You do get them. It's rare. I'm not one of them. I'm a Geordie and I'm a strong Geordie. And I can easily take anything that you can throw at me, pal. And I'm still here. I'm still standing. I'm still smiling. That didn't hurt at all. That was poor. That was very, very poor. You should be ashamed of yourself. If a Geordie can't be more vindictive than that, then I'm afraid you shouldn't be carrying the proud name of Geordie. I'm sorry, but that, you know, a Geordie is much tougher than that and much sharper than that. That was very weak. I'm not sure you're a proper Geordie. I think it was probably it's a good accent, but it must have been fake. It was the sort of attack, onslaught that you get from somebody in the west of Scotland, you know, genteel and almost acquiescent. Feeble, quite feeble. Should be ashamed of yourself. Line 3, you're live on Talksport. Good morning. Line 2, you're live on Talksport. Good morning.
Hello?
Hello?
Is that Tommy?
Speaking, yes, you're live on the air.
Yeah? Oh, yeah, it was just that last call about you slagging off that Geordie boy. That wasn't very nice.
Terrible man.
Yeah. He wasn't terrible.
Yes, he was. Awful creature.
He was not.
He was.
Why?
Well, for one thing, he didn't have the decency or the courage to stay and have a conversation.
Yeah, will you cut him off?
No, I didn't. He went. He slammed the phone down. Weren't you listening? If you weren't listening, what right do you have to pass judgment on the conversation?
No, I was listening, Tommy.
Well, why didn't you hear him say, I'm going to slam the phone down now?
No, well, no, in a minute, you says it was almost a feeble...
It was feeble. It was a
feeble argument from somebody from the west of Scotland.
It wasn't a feeble argument.
No, you said it almost sounds like somebody that comes from the west of Scotland.
Yes, he was Argyllshire. It was an Argyllshire sort of argument. Feeble.
Oh, why do you mean? I'm from west of Scotland.
Oh, well, they are. You're probably feeble when it comes to arguing.
No, I'm not.
I think you are.
Well, how do you make that out?
Well, we're rather demonstrating it here, aren't you?
Well,
in the course of this conversation.
how can you make that statement? How can you make that statement speaking about...
It's not a good question. Do you want to rephrase it so that it becomes one I can answer?
Well,
The obvious answer is that I move my lips and words come out.
Oh, that's...
That's not what you mean, though. So make it a question that I can answer, and I will.
Tommy, anybody can do that.
Yeah, well, you ask the question so that it deserves an answer.
Right. You slagged off somebody from Newcastle or a Geordie.
Yeah.
Right. And then he says...
Yes.
It almost sounds like...
Yeah, we know all this. Just what's your question?
How can you make a statement that it sounds like a feeble argument from somebody that comes from the west of Scotland?
Yes. When you say, how can I make it, what do you actually mean? What is your question? Are you saying, on what basis do you make such an allegation?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, why didn't you say that then?
Right, I'm saying it now.
Well, you didn't. I had to say it for you.
Right, you said it for me.
Well, why couldn't you say it?
Well, I couldn't, I'm not intelligent enough to say that.
Where are you from?
I'm from the west of Scotland.
Well, there you are then, ergo. Christ almighty, this is like shooting fish in a barrel. See, we'll try line 6. Good morning, line 6. You are live on Talksport. Hi.
Tommy, hello.
Hello there.
It's Simon from Hampshire here.
No.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Well,
Long time no speak.
We'll see about that. We'll be the judge of that.
Well, I can guarantee it is. I'm actually, I've not heard you on the radio for somewhat. Oh, you've caught me quite unaware, actually. I wasn't prepared to go live on the air, but yes, I'd like to speak to you. I'm not sure exactly of the format of this new show, but if possible...
Well, it's just conversational, really. We don't have there's no format. You don't have a format.
So, am I free to talk to you about...
You can raise whatever issue you feel is pressing against your conscience.
Excellent, because since we last spoke, which has been some while, really, this really has been playing on my mind. This really began to get to me because I haven't had a way of expressing my views nationally as I did have before on your former show, which provided me such a perfect forum for trying to spread my message throughout the country. And, and now I hear you're back on the radio, slightly later time, probably fewer listeners, but still, a reasonable national forum just to try and get the message across.
Still got a bit of a funny thing about homos, have you?
Yes, you could say that. I wouldn't say it's a funny thing. I would say it's a well thought out and reasonable argument against homosexuals.
Well, we never really worked out amongst ourselves off air whether you were one or not.
No, I can guarantee you that I'm not.
But nobody can guarantee that.
Well, I can certainly guarantee it.
No, you can't. What about the Turkish prison syndrome? Look what happened. Look what happened to Brad in that.
No.
Starved of affection for 17 years, he eventually got off with that Swede in the showers. Now, you can't be certain.
Oh, I can be, because he has obviously had a predisposition to homosexuality since the day he was born.
He just needed a hug.
Or perhaps he caught it from fellow prisoners.
It's not contagious like that.
Isn't it? Yes,
No.
it is.
No,
Yes,
isn't.
it is.
It isn't.
It is. That's what I was ringing you about, Tommy. Because this is what's beginning to get to me now, and what is really grinds me down is the way that homosexuality is spreading. And it's not being eradicated as it should be. It's actually being spread. And it seems to me as if, and I believe now that it is, actually a contagious condition, which is spreading now throughout the human race.
But how do you avoid catching it then? Do you have to not inhale if you're near somebody who's in equity or something? What do you do?
Well, I don't know. This is the problem, you see. I can only imagine.
Or wear a little mask.
It's some sort of condition or something which has been brought on this earth. And to be honest with you, I think it will be the downfall of the human race.
Wash your hands after you've been to the art gallery, that sort of thing.
Well, yes,
Yes. Yeah, that sort of thing. You can't be too careful.
No.
Because it is an utter disgrace. And I believe that some sort of evil force, perhaps, has introduced it and is trying to eradicate the human race.
Well, we need a certain number of homos.
Why?
Well, for example, think of the state of our upholstery if we didn't have some homos.
I'm not with you.
Well, we do need people who are interested in soft furnishings and hairdressing.
Yes, but surely that's taken by females.
Well, it could be, I suppose, but they're only.
Well, it is.
But all females are is the acceptable face of homosexuality, isn't it? Really?
Absolutely not. Homosexuals serve absolutely no function on this earth whatsoever. The basic function of human beings are to reproduce and to expand the human race.
Simon,
all that homosexual people do is against that.
Well, listen, it's really good to know that you're back in circulation, and I look forward to our next conversation hungrily. You're tuned to Talksport. It's always occurred to me that daydreams, and certainly the idea of reincarnation experiences which are recollected under hypnosis, might be a more useful tool for analysis and understanding your own psyche than recalled dreams, because the mechanisms for recalling dreams, famously and obviously to all of us who have dreams, are highly flawed. It's difficult to remember our dreams, largely because they don't carry consecutive action in the same way that normal life does. Difficult to remember them at all, and even if you can recall them, you can't recall many of the incidents. You can't recall with any great detail anything other than the overall emotion that you were experiencing during the dream, which is a starting point, but it means that you have to look at your dreams over a considerable period of time in order to identify regularly occurring emotions. But if you look at your daydreams, and there are features of your daydreams, if you have a regular daydream, as I do, it's one that just amuses you and entertains you and helps you go to sleep perhaps at night, or when you're driving along, just gives you a nice warm feeling. It could well be that by analysing some of the features of that, you're able to go a little bit further on life's most important journey, which is into yourself. So good question raised, I think, there, Marion, and thank you for that, and thank you for your call last night. Look forward to another chat with you.
Simon guy that you had on earlier from Hampshire. Although I think he's quite sound, although possibly I could have expressed it in a different way, but I certainly feel that there just seems to, out of nowhere, becoming like sort of an infestation of homosexuals.
I think a lot of people aren't actually homosexual. It's just a way of attracting attention to themselves.
Yeah, surely there's better ways of doing it though, Tommy. I mean, like, I'm sure you'd agree, if you've got something like sort of that's worth saying and people will listen to you, surely there's much better ways of making yourself heard than that.
No, I can't think of any, can you?
Well, I can think of many. I mean, if you've got like sort of important things to say, I mean, you do it in the way that you live your life. I think there's just so many ways that you can live your life. And personally, I'd say that's a pretty disgusting way of living it.
No, it isn't. Why is it disgusting? It's no more disgusting than what heterosexual people do, is it?
Personally, I think it's very unnatural, mate. It's very unnatural.
But I've never met anybody who said it was unnatural, who could then define what natural is.
Well, I suppose that's a good point.
Can you?
Well, same as somebody asks you to define what normal is, really, isn't it?
Well, I would find it easier myself to define normal than natural.
I don't know.
I do.
You do?
Yeah. That's the beauty of being me, really. I know.
You know.
I do. Which is fantastic. And I'm against Simon, and I'm against anybody who thinks that that what homosexuals do is unnatural. Because everything that's magnificent in life, everything that humanity has done that is fantastic, that is special, that we should be proud of, that shines out from this planet, it is unnatural. Because what's natural is what animals do.
Yeah.
And we don't do any of that. Well, we do. We do some things. But what's the big deal about that?
Yeah.
What is the big deal about what an amoeba can do? Right, an amoeba, right? That's natural. Fantastic. No, not fantastic. Rubbish. Amoebas are rubbish. Could an amoeba write the 1812 overture? Could it?
I wouldn't have said so, mate.
No, but a gay bloke did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Could an amoeba make a movie like Citizen Kane?
Probably not.
No, but a gay bloke could, couldn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got no problem with the people, Tommy.
No?
I've got no problem with who they are.
But so tell me something natural that's fantastic.
Something natural that's fantastic.
Yeah, tell me something natural that speaks to us of eternity.
Something that's natural that's fantastic is on a holiday last year down in Cornwall, sitting up on the beach at Penzance and watching the sunrise. That was pretty fantastic.
All right, well, I'm sure there's no homosexual people who could aspire to anything quite as incredible as that.
I'm sure
But
there
they
is.
can only dream.
No.
They can only dream. They can only hope that one day they might appreciate a sunset. Oh, just ask Hockney next time I'm chatting with him about the meaning of visual aestheticism, whether he's ever thought of looking at a sunset. No. 08700 40 50 60. That is an interesting thought, isn't it, really? I mean, everything that humanity can be proud of is unnatural. Everything that humanity could be ashamed of, like war, for example, is natural, because it's an extension of an animal instinct. But upholstery, good upholstery, is totally unnatural. Beautifully layered hair around the ears and at the back of the neck is completely unnatural. It's fabulous. And so, as I said, is everything from Citizen Kane to the 1812 overture. 08700 40 50 60, the telephone number, fax.co.uk. The news is very hard being a human being, but isn't it interesting being a human being? For example, this man who had an intense and at times sexual relationship with a woman on the internet, only to find out that she wasn't a 26-year-old model stroke teacher, but in actual fact a retired divorced man. I can't see what the problem is, personally, at all, because he was obviously making love with, in his mind, an image of somebody that he largely created himself, because the internet can't give you a whole person. So he attached a voice to the words on the page. He presumably attached a character to whatever images he was sent. I presume he was sent some sort of pictures of somebody who wasn't the retired man. But, you know, then there's an interesting thing here. You know, I was thinking about this the other day. You know you're supposed to have a soul. And if you're a bloke, is your soul male? Does the soul have a gender? And I'd be very interested to find... I know I would not be very interested to find out the Christian view on that at all, actually.
Or the Muslim, or the Jewish, or...
But you know,
Yeah.
do you believe you've got a soul, Robin?
I err on the side of saying yes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, just...
You're an agnostic.
Yeah, anything...
That's all you can be.
Anything to do with the mind of the afterlife, no one has yet proved.
No.
So everyone can either dismiss it or totally accept it.
Do you believe in the power of thought? But see, what's been happening to me a lot lately, I've been putting thoughts into people's minds, but not trying to.
Just doing it.
It's just that I find myself thinking something, and blimey, then they say it. Now, this has happened to me, I would say, once, startlingly, so much so that it startled the other person.
Did you know the other person?
I was working with a broadcaster, Anne Diamond,
Yes.
and she jumped out of her seat. And I hadn't tried to do it, but it just happened. And I had to say to her, she said, how did that happen? How did you do that? I said, I didn't do anything. She said, I happened to be thinking something in a certain way. I can't recreate it. And then you thought it, didn't you? She was sat next to me. And this is what's happened to me. On Friday, I think it was Friday, it might have been Thursday, I was in a record shop, and they had Radio 1 on, like you get.
Yes.
And there was a chap on it called Chris, somebody or other.
Chris Miles, yeah.
And I stopped and I listened to him, and I was in a motorbike shop there. I was in a motorbike shop looking at the Ducatis.
Right.
Right? And they had Radio 1 on. And as I went round, I found myself thinking to this bloke, shut up. And then I found myself thinking, if you want to hear how this is done, you should listen to me. Right. Now, have you read the facts that
I
just came
have.
in? What does it say?
It says that Chris Moores has been slagging you off on Radio 1.
On the Friday,
Mm.
which I'm pretty certain now was after
You
I'd
thought
had
so.
this thought. Now that, to me, is that a total coincidence? Okay. How could that possibly work? How could that possibly a thought like that travel the distance of 80 miles?
It's the same as two cars that collided last week were of the same make, the same colour, the same model type, and the same year prefix of registration. And had done a very, very similar mileage.
Somebody once said, and I understand this just, it would be a bigger coincidence if coincidences never happened.
That's true.
But this thing happens to me from time to time, and I'm trying to see if there's some pattern to it.
Some people do seem to be predisposed to have things happen like this in their life, and to be able to sense these kind of things.
Yeah.
And to see things that normal people can't see.
I'm sorry, it made me feel good because this is tiny.
I haven't studied it that closely.
What was the last time you measured yours?
I don't think I ever have.
Yes, you have. We all do.
Well, certainly probably as a teenager, but that was far too long ago.
Yes. Because you hear stories about, 18 inches and things like that. Women don't realise that men go through these things. We worry.
The classroom banter of putting a finger like that and then measuring the distance. It's all.
I'm very lucky. It was not until I was done and dusted as a stud and finished, and that was behind me, that I found out that I wasn't, terribly well hung. I thought I was just normal. But it turns out, I'm on the petite side.
Well,
so what? It is ignominious having to buy small underpants.
But that's waste.
Yeah, but, they don't sell anything else as small. They don't sell cereal in small packets, mate.
They do.
They do not.
They do.
They do not.
You can get a single pack of your favourite in supermarkets.
My point is they're not marketed as small. They're marketed as economy. Or...
No, they're marketed as singular.
No. Or novelty.
No.
Admittedly, I wouldn't want to go into Marks and Spencer's and ask if they've got any novelty underpants.
I'll refute this one. There is
No.
in supermarkets there is a specialist section of single packets now,
but it
in the
doesn't-
same way that they used to do the variety
Don't
packs.
use the word small. That's my point. They don't. Small is a bad word in anything else.
True, they
but
use
they
single
don't
serving.
Why don't they call my underpants size? What was that one word you used before?
Single.
No. For a box full of small cereals.
Variety.
Variety. I'd be quite happy to have a pair of variety
yes.
underpants. If I was sat on the bus and I was reading my mirror and there were two geezers, both of whom flunked Open University, talking about comedy and the nature of things, I would definitely turn around and go, shut up. Or at least I want to. As you probably did during that conversation. Well,
Polite to keep,
I haven't even started being impolite. What I have to say is that when you try the politician's technique
I'm entitled to my opinion.
no, you're not.
Oh, I'm not entitled to my opinion.
You are. You are not entitled to it.
I apologise, Tommy.
Not at all. I am entitled to
Shame you
my...
haven't got the wit to put your own opinion.
All right, then you explain to me the criterion by which you form your opinion.
Okay. The reason...
No, not in
Oh,
connection
sorry,
with...
I almost got two words into my sentence.
Yes, that's right. Well, you're not very good. Let me explain. You tell me the criterion by which you form an opinion.
Okay.
Not this opinion, an opinion.
I form an opinion by what I judge is right. Now, obviously, you have to apply that to every single circumstance. And the way I apply it to the circumstance that we're talking about is what's right for people. Now, I think that, for example, in this case, I think that 50,000 people being thrown in the dole and told that they're not going to get a job.
What do you do?
Wrong. Sorry?
What's your
I'm
job?
a student.
Oh, God.
But I have worked full-time for the last 3 years, Tommy, if that's any consolation.
Yes, but you were never going to stay there, were you? How many children have you got?
Sorry, I haven't any children, Tom.
How many people depend on you?
No people depend on me apart from partially my 3 housemates, Tommy.
So the truth of the matter is you haven't actually got any tangible experience of responsibility.
That is true, but on the other hand, those 50,000 people with families who are about to be made destitute actually do. which is a shame for your argument, because you're
No,
trying to
darling, do you suppose I don't know that?
because you're trying to patronise
No, wait a
me.
second. No, wait a second.
Unfortunately, by implication, you're patronising those tens of thousands of families whose lives are about to be trodden on and ruined by what's happening at the moment.
Look. If you're going to tub thump, can you not do it a bit better than that? Can you not put some passion into it? Can you not put some colour into it? Can you not dignify it with a little bit of emotion? It's so whispering, monotonous, feeble. I mean, where is your belligerence? Where is your verbal Molotov cocktail, boy? Where is your rusting barricade? Where is the panache of your scarf half pulled down across your face so that we may recognise you from your photograph? Where is the tattoo on your forehead that will stand you out for the rest of your years as an enemy of the state? Where is it? There's none of it. It's a drink of water. It's not even a drink of water. It's a drink of chlorinated bloody water. If you really care, spit blood and bile. Don't gibber away like a bloody sherbet dip. Give it to me.
I'm not even allowed half a word now.
You haven't got half a word. At least when I was your age, I was angry.
Hello, Tommy. Is this Tommy Boyd show, or is it the Tommy Boyd plus people who phone in show?
No, it's the Tommy Boyd show.
That's a shame, isn't it? Because that was a nice pantomime performance. And the reason I haven't been going off on one is you're like, I mean, I can do that.
Where are you studying?
I can quite happily go off on one if you like.
Where are you studying?
Big rant about what I think is wrong in society. But
no, you can't. Well, you haven't got what it takes. You haven't got the ability.
Straight away.
Where are you studying?
I won't even bother with that. Now, what I will give you.
Where are you studying?
The reasons why I think what I do. And I think quite evidently the world is run by a tiny.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God, can you imagine him being your son? Can you imagine he's coming home for Christmas? Oh, dearie, 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 dearie. He's going to go on about the exploitation of turkeys. He's going to go on about the fact that these cracker biscuits which came from Morocco, these dates which came from Morocco have caused the exploitation of workers. These bananas, no doubt, mother, which you bought from the supermarket, have brought about the exploitation of Caribbean peoples. Oh! You see, that's the trouble with letting people be students. They do not realise how hard life actually is. I mean, it's only when you've actually had to actually get down to it and live it that you realise that what actually matters is the state of your fridge and the health of your children and the state of your marriage and the great, above all, the great gawping terror of your own mortality as you spin on this little rock through deepest space with the growing, gnawing knowledge you're gonna pop your clogs. That's what's terrifying.
Don't forget to subscribe and like. Comment too if you wish. Even slap your legs and make a purchase from Ann Summers. But don't do nothing.